Hey guys, Ellen Woodbridge here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, and I wanted to welcome you to our April Christmas Stampathon 2019 challenge. Now this month we have an inspiration photo and I'm going to insert that here for you to have a look at. So as you can see, we've got two side-by-side images and you can take from that color inspiration, you can take textures, the style of the photo. It's take inspiration from it however you wish. So coming back to the card that I've made, I've taken the Christmas tree image and I've taken the colors and the shiplap background, which I've used the Stampin' Up! Hardwood stamp set for, and I have also used, let's see if I can grab that here, I've used for the word Merry, I have copper embossed the Merry Christmas to All stamp set, and I have used the Merry Christmas thinlets for the Christmas. And these, even though both these sets aren't in an active catalogue currently, they are both still available. Now for the tree, I have also used the well-loved Lovely as a tree stamp set, and I have used that tree there. So let's get into making this card. The colours that I have used are Cherry Cobbler, Mossy Meadow, I have used Whisper White, and a touch of Early Espresso and the Copper. So I have all my bits and bobs, sorry, just popping things off to the side here. I have all my layers pre-cut, so just using a card front, a mat and the piece of Whisper White. So I'm going to bring in our Hardwood stamp set, and what I have stamped for this, sorry, I'm just going to pop it here so you can see what I'm talking about. What I've used is Smoky Slate, and I have stamped off the Smoky Slate to give it a more washed out look, because on the original piece it was quite bold and I didn't want it that bold. Of course I did that on my brand new background. Dear oh dear, it likes to suction to these background stamps, and I find inking it up upside down is the easiest way to do it. So to stamp it off, I'm just going to take a scrap piece of paper. As you can see, I have used this to make my previous cards. I am quite generous in the amount of ink I'm taking off. I then take my card front and not far enough over, and I'm going to pop this down, and I'm going to bring back this piece and just put some even pressure over it to transfer that image. I find this the easiest way to get a great image of the background rather than stamping the stamp to the paper. So you can see I've got a nice light image there. Okay, I'm going to pop this stamp up here. Then I'm going to bring in the tree from Lovely as a Tree and my Mossy Meadow ink pad. And I also have my Early Espresso Stampin' Right marker to add in some of the wood details on this stamp. So just ink that up. I am going to bring back my scrap piece of paper. I'll explain in a second. So the Stampin' Right marker has exactly the same type of ink as our ink pads. It's just in a pen form, and I am using the brush end to brush in this tree trunk. Now what I'm doing off to the side, I am scribbling off the Mossy Meadow ink because I am picking it up as I go. So I am now just going to go in and just touch some of these branches, and this just makes the tree look a little more rather realistic. So I have scribbled all that Mossy Meadow out. Now this has dried a bit, so the only way to rehydrate it is to huff on it. Now it's going to sound really weird and you can't do the huffing without a sound, but here goes. So just using my breath to rehydrate that ink, and I am just going to stamp this down. Just hold it there for a few seconds for all the ink to transfer, and there we have our tree. Okay, now just going to pop these ink pads off to the side, and I am going to bring in my, oh sorry about all my cords flicking there. I'm going to bring in the Big Shot. Let's see if we can do this without an avalanche. There we go, we've got the Big Shot. Now this is some scrap cherry cobbler, and what I have done, I have backed the back of this scrap with some of our, and this is called our multi-purpose adhesive sheets. So these come in, I want to say 6 by 12. So they fit perfectly in the Big Shot. So you can cover a whole piece and do lots of die cutting. So because this Merry Christmas is so intricate, it just allows for there to be glue everywhere on the die cut, so it makes it easier to adhere. So I'm just going to pop this Christmas down. So the challenge this month is to make some cards using this inspiration photo that I showed you earlier, and it's minimum of 4. Let's see if this will come out. So that is die cut. I have no qualms about that one. Put the Big Shot back. Right, and just pop this out. So this separates quite easily from the die, and I'll bring our card front and card back in. What I'm going to do though, I'm just going to rub away this excess ink, otherwise I'm going to get it everywhere. Okay, that's fixed. Now just going to bring in my scissors and just pop out, make sure they're closed, and just pop out a few of, I think that's it. Yep, they are the pieces that wanted to stick around. They come off quite easily. And now what I'm going to do is just use the edge of my scissors to get off this backing sheet. Let's see if I can, I was under there, there we go. So we just want to carefully peel off this backing sheet. Now it's going to come off in a few pieces just because I use some scraps of the adhesive sheet. So I might fast forward this bit just because my hands are not playing ball today, and you guys don't need to, it is easy to get off, it's just a matter of getting under it, and the fact I have used some scraps just to use up what I've got, because I thought it was a good idea at the time. Actually, it's not too bad at all. Oh, you can see how sticky that is. Okay, Let me just get these last few pieces off. Have you guys been enjoying the Christmas Stampathon challenge so far? We have changed the challenges up from last year. We just wanted to challenge you guys in a few different ways, because keeping it different is always good. Just takes us all out of our comfort zone a bit. So you can see that only took a minute or so. It wasn't too bad. If I can release it from my finger here, and I'm just going to lie it down. I'm just going to give it a rough press down at this stage. And what I do is I lie it down, because these words can get a bit stretchy. Especially here with the I and the R, I sort of put them back to where they'd be, and then give them a touch of a press down. That's fairly straight. It's a bit further over than what I would like, but that's okay. And this C is just a touch, because it's not completely adhered down. There we go. That's a bit straighter. Okay, happy with that. And then I just burnish it with my finger. Now the last thing we have to do is take this Merry stamp with Versamark ink, and we are going to emboss with copper embossing powder. So I'm going to take my embossing buddy, and this removes any static or oils from your fingers, which you can see I have been quite liberal with my fingers here. Now with the Versamark, we just give this a bit of a stamp, and we hope and pray that I can stamp straight. And if it's not straight, it doesn't matter, because it's a handmade card. I'm just going to bring in the tray that I use for my embossing powder. And I do have one of my children's paintbrushes as well, just to clean out the tray and to get rid of stray pieces like that. So there we go. That was perfect. I'll pop that off to the side and clean it later, and just bring in our heat tool and melt that. Probably should have heated this up a little bit to start off with, but I'll make it so you can see it melt. And when I am heating it, I am moving it along. I'm not keeping it in the one place, because I really don't want to burn my paper or the embossing powder. So you can see that moving and melting and going really, goes shiny and it goes smooth. So that is done. Sorry for knocking the camera there. Just give this a minute or so to dry, and it has just started raining outside. The joy, the joy. So now I can start my assembly, and I have washing on the line, which is not fun at all. So I've just put glue on my Mossy Meadow piece, and this will go on my cherry cobbler background. I did choose quite traditional colours. I can't wait to see what inspires you from the image. And then I am going to, now this has warped just a touch because of the heat, and that's okay. These things happen. Okay, so I have been quite generous with my multi-purpose glue, and I am, oh, do you know what I didn't do, guys? I didn't trim this down. Wonder if I can do it now. I didn't trim it down. Right, that's okay. We will improvise. I knew there was a step that I missed. Let's see if I can do this straight. I need about 1/2 centimetre off each side. Okay, there's one piece off, just because our that is so not straight, just because our background stamps are slightly smaller than our standard card front in Australia, so working in A4, but that's okay. We'll make it work, and it's a handmade card, and the person that gets it, I doubt will even notice. Okay, let's try that one again if I don't drop all the glue. Okay, that looks better. Maybe, maybe not. Right. This one is really not being my friend today. Okay, got up that glue. Okay. I think we're calling this a very handmade card, but you get the idea. We've just got a touch. Now, because this is warped, what I'm going to bring in is just my big, and this is the F block, but you can use anything equally heavy, just to put some pressure on that and to help it stay flat. So I would love to see what you guys actually produce. I think I have already made, I've already made lots of these cards, so they're all the same. All the same, they are ready to go for my Christmas time, and this is all what the challenge is, getting ready for Christmas. So I cannot wait to see your challenge cards. If you do want to participate, there are some prizes involved for your region, either the UK, Australia, and the US. So we have 4 of us demonstrators that will show you an inspiration project, and then you just post onto that on our Facebook group and show us what you make. Cannot wait to see you guys over there. Have a lovely month, and I will see you next time. Bye.